Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. What time is it? It's about 1:30. I'm gonna try to keep this relatively quick, but I'm gonna try to do some weekly updates. Today I want to talk about some of these USB paddle controllers that I've been building recently, and also obviously from this video you're seeing that there's a game, my brick game, my breakout inspired game is on my Steam Deck there. So maybe rather than teasing you with it, I'll hit play. Wait, why isn't it playing? Oh, is it playing? Hold on. Technical difficulties. Oh, do I have to hit that button? Yeah, that helps to press the play button. Hopefully that's not too... Hopefully that noise isn't bothering you too much. But just to talk through what you're seeing. Oh, what was that? Why did that stop? That was just me launching the game. Is that what that was? What if I double click on this? Oh wow, the audio is even worse when you... Really? More technical difficulties. How do I fix my audio? I mean, it's just awful that it's... Well, I mean, if you're listening to this in stereo, it's kind of bad. But let's just not do that. Or maybe what I could do here is create a new project like that and just drag clips down when I want to preview them. Then I think I can get them to sound better. Yeah, okay, much better. So what we saw here was just me starting up Brick Game on the Steam Deck. So I guess that's significant to me because I just manually copied it over and I'm pretty happy that I got it running. So let's just get this playing in the background while I talk about it. So yeah, I got Brick Game. Oh my god, this noise is just unbelievable. Oh, it's getting better. Okay, I could it's... I'm kind of like treating this like almost like a live stream, I suppose. That's funny. Wait. Oh yeah, okay. So why is it stopping? Oh, I think I had the wrong video in there. That's why. Let's see. I can do a little extra hum removal. Try some noise removal. I find noise removal is pretty aggressive, so let's turn that down. Okay. So what I want to talk about here is I can run Brick Game on the Steam Deck, and then I had it configured to use the thumb pad, and then I was just using the touch screen, so there's like the two, right? So that's the thumb pad thingy as a mouse. I had to configure that using Steam inputs, and then it just automatically switches over to using touchscreen if you feel like switching to touchscreen. And when I'm kind of like in a way trying to break it to see how robust it is, and I'm able to plug in this strange device that I've made which is a USB paddle. And what it is it's a RP2040, which is a type of a Raspberry Pi device, a teeny tiny one. And what's cool about that particular model is that it mimics a USB device very, very well. And so there's a little code you upload to the thing, and now it's a USB device. And the Steam Deck just sees it as like a analog thumbstick kind of a thing. So I've assigned it to axis 0, which is like on a normal joystick or gamepad type device, it would be your left thumbstick. And I'm holding it here in my hand, so let me switch camera views. So it's this thing. Basically, it's, if you're familiar with electronics, a potentiometer is a variable resistor. So when you turn it this way, depending on how you have it wired, but the way I'm using it, this is there's a voltage going through it. So this would be 0 voltage, and this would be maximum, which is I think I'm running at 3.3 volts DC. And that 3.3 volt DC, or whatever, the variable voltage, goes into a pin on the Raspberry Pi. The programming in the Pi determines, just converts that to a number. I think something like between 0 and 1024 or something. It could be any range, really. It's whatever bit range you feel like using. That communicates with your PC or whatever, and it just sees it as like a thumbstick moving left and right. So some games can be configured to read a thumbstick axis as a paddle input. Very few actually can do that, but I'm hoping that by making this kind of tiny little device, I'm hoping it'll catch on and just become an alternate standard of game inputs. It's kind of silly to make it sound like it's a new thing, but because it's from like the 70s, it's like from the Atari days. And this thing may look familiar to some people. If you've ever taken apart a keyboard, that's a keyboard key switch. And I love it because it just feels good. You don't get tired when you use these. So this was a prototype that I made by printing out what the printed circuit board would look like. And where I get this design is from an actual circuit board that I made. This is the paddle for a game tank, which is an 8-bit console that I talk about a lot on this channel. Hold on a second. Am I not taking up the whole screen? Yeah. Well, anyway, sorry, that was a weird distraction. Let's get back to some of these videos I shot. So speaking of retro games, I'll skip over that. So that was Stella. I was launching Stella here, but if you don't know what Stella is, it's an Atari emulator. I kind of hacky style installed it on my Steam Deck. Let's do it this way. Yoink. I installed it on my Steam Deck, and what I mean by hacky style is I installed it in desktop mode because it's the only way I was able to kind of bypass all the weird... Oh, what am I trying to say? The reason I installed Stella was because using Stella in RetroArch, I couldn't get it to work. And I can explain that later, but it's kind of like an annoying thing. And the reason I'd like to talk about that is that maybe people in the retro gaming community can figure out ways to tweak RetroArch so that it's easier to work with. But basically, here I am playing Kaboom. Is that big enough? So oh yeah, that's right. This was running at 40 frames per second. So I switched over to a different. So I have another video here where I fixed it. Because it needs to run at 60 FPS to really be working properly. Yeah, I don't know if you could really tell the difference, but I think for me personally, it was difficult to play it in 40 with my frame rate kind of locked down. Yeah, that's way better. And classic game would be Breakout. So let's pop into there. So it might seem weird to a lot of people. Like, why the heck do you want to use a little knob like this paddle controller? And I think you have to use it to really truly appreciate it. But the way I like to describe it is, if you've made a game that uses the paddle controller, the way it is classically set up is that it's like a one-to-one connection from your hand to the screen. So actually I like to think of it in terms of speed. So I can get to the left side of the screen all the way to the right side of the screen as fast as my hand can move. It's funny, as I'm saying that I wasn't moving at all. So yeah, you can see kind of when I'm rotating it, the thing is really whizzing from one side to the other. And there's a real frustration with this type of game when you try to do that with a joystick and you press all the way to the right, but it just moves as fast as it kind of caps the speed because it's trying to emulate that type of input by moving it at a speed that it wants to move. I don't know if that really explains it, but let's try a different game here. Let's go to Night Driver. This is a great game. Oh man, this is a fun game. And for some reason, when I played it this time, it was the best game I ever had. I think playing it on a small screen really helps you visualize the road. And I mean, I'm comparing it to a regular computer monitor. When it's up on my monitor, it's like so much harder to play. Okay, but I don't know. I don't really need you to watch me play through this. I think I'm pretty proud of the fact that I did so well, but I don't think you need to watch this unless, you know, that's your thing. What I did do was I have a video here where I kind of went into the settings. So this is Stella, and I forget which button I press. Opens up this options thing, and it's kind of hard to control. I'm not sure why I couldn't use the thumb pad, the touchpad. So I'm using the touch screen, which is really hard. So I'm going to the input section, going to paddles, and I want to set up the analog. See, I'm pressing the wrong thing there. I want to set up analog paddle. Here, I'll just hit play. And I'm trying to hit defaults, and then I'm hitting erase, right? Because I want this to have nothing in there. And I'm going to go to map. And to map it, I had to rotate the knob on my paddle. And you can see that it chose my controller, but it had the wrong axis for some reason. So I'm going to erase it again. I don't know why that happened. So I'm going to rotate it again, and now it's controller 1, with the x-axis, and that's correct, plus and minus. So then I'm going to go to hit the fire button. I'm going to erase all those default choices. I'm going to go to map, and I'm just going to press the button on the controller. And that's all you have to do. The Steam Deck automatically sees everything, so that's how that works. And then I guess I wanted to show that what happens if you run Breakout in RetroArch, or Kaboom. I guess it's Kaboom. So this is probably using Emulation Station or something. This is annoying because I don't know why it's playing in black and white. I couldn't remember the settings. But I guess I ran it again. Okay, so now I'm running Breakout, but this is what happens. It automatically just, you can't use the paddle, but you can use the thumbstick, and it just moves it, kind of like you're playing a game like Mario, where you move Mario left or move Mario right with a thumbstick. But I don't want that. I want to use a paddle, or I want to use a mouse, you know. So I'm trying to go into the settings to change the inputs, and this is what happens. Where are we? Are we in here? I want to fast forward it a little bit. So I'm trying to get into the settings here, and yeah, going to port 1 controls here. I'll zoom up on it. Yeah, that's not it. Okay, so I screwed that up. Yeah, that was my fail video. Maybe I had it earlier, but just to say that, really, that was my last video? Oof, that's too loud. Let's turn that down. Let's go here. Let's drag this here, and just drag that down. So yeah, just to sort of wrap up, this is where I try to show you kind of like, look at this cool controller, and it's got wires on the back. But what I'll do is get a bunch of these boards printed, and since it's only like a handful of components, I can put it together really fast. Probably gonna try to 3D print like a base, so you're not touching like the sharp pins. And then I don't know if I'll even put a top on it, but you're gonna want a knob and a keycap. I might provide those too, and just sell them for like 20 bucks or something on an Etsy shop. I just want to be able to like have it be available to people. I want people to just sort of know that there's this classic type of controller available. I'll even put the, it's totally like, I want it to be a totally open source effort. So the schematics for the design are available online. Yeah, anyway, sorry, just to say that I think it's worth kind of like reintroducing people to paddle controllers and these classic games. So here's where I'm playing my brick game, which if you haven't heard me talk about it in the past, it's a game that I wrote for the Game Tank, which is an 8-bit game console that's modern. I mean, it's made today. And it also, the Game Tank community is great. They've made an amazing emulator, and so it's very easy to wrap the game into this emulator so that it runs on like a Steam Deck. So here it is. And I'll probably put it in the Steam store as well. You can play it via a web page, but I'm struggling trying to get the web page to recognize the paddle controller. So that's a new challenge I have to deal with. Actually, web deployments are just kind of a pain, but anyway, I'm just gonna try to keep talking about my efforts with these paddle controllers because I think they're really cool, and it's kind of surprising. I feel like it's hard to get people to talk about it. There aren't a lot of games designed for this, but I think a lot of older folks are gonna really love playing old Atari games using the Stella emulator, using like a more classic paddle. It's not something that doesn't exist. You know, you can buy Atari paddles and there's adapters available, but this is a sort of maybe a cheaper, more convenient option, or a build your own kind of DIY option. I think it puts more paddles in more people's hands. I think what would be really cool is to have some game dev communities just start building paddle games, like not necessarily retro style, you know. The same circuit could be modified into like a driving controller, kind of a much cheaper maybe driving wheel. Like I've always wanted to do driving sims, but I don't have the space or the money to set up a simulation rig. So there might be like the next best thing, which is like a handheld driving controller based off of either a potentiometer like this, or you can use a spinner, which is slightly different. But I think I'm going to wrap up. I feel like I've rambled. I don't know if this is going to be good content, but I'm just going to release it anyway because I feel like what I'm saying will resonate somewhere with somebody. Someone in the world cares about this stuff. And if you do, please reach out to me. I'd love to chat. All right, that's it. Talk to you later. I don't know how I perfectly timed it at the end of that video. That's unbelievable.